It's been a minute since I've done a YouTube video. I got my trees behind me. So today I want to talk about programming more and the fact that you're not the program, you're the one holding it. This is a particular space in your body that you feel. And if you haven't had some type of rupture or awakening or catalyst to blow your perception open, then this is not going to make any sense. But if you are already seeing beyond the veil and seeing through the distortions in the form of reality into the formless, you're recognizing these underlying energy currents, then this might be helpful to further unravel who you are in relationship to all of this. So, first of all, programming is, it's like a loop of a tactic of living and surviving. And it's stuck in our body because there are versions of us that are stuck in that way of being. So it gets so lodged in that it feels like us. And sometimes these parts of us, these past versions, are like 2, 3, 4 years old. So it's been running for so many years that when you've come into greater awareness of who you are as you've just developed as a human and grown, it feels like you. It's like this thing that you always carry around that's just like yours to deal with. It's programming, okay? And it's always rooted in you believing that you are this human and that there's nothing else beyond that. You are just this form. You are this person, this name, this life story, this family member, this role. Because everything that's happened to you in this body, that is the foundation of where the programming can hook in. So for example, let's say as a kid you were bullied a lot. People made fun of you. You've had a lot of moments of just feeling like shit, feeling like you don't matter, no one cares. Or let's say you grew up in a house where you were neglected or abused. You take on the program of I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm a loser, whatever. And it's rooted in something deeper, right? That's the story of it, but it's rooted in unworthiness. Mostly unworthiness, at least for those examples. But you're not unworthy. You, as a human, are not unworthy. You are the one experiencing what it feels like to be unworthy. You're the one experiencing unworthiness through those situations. So it's not about you. This experience is not about you as the person. It's about you as the one witnessing it. Your life, reality is like a movie. And you're watching the movie through the body of the character. So it gets confusing, but you're not the character. You're watching the movie through the body of the character. And you have autonomy as the character. But what happens in the movie, especially externally, things coming at you, it's kind of not your problem. It's data. It's data. It's like if you walk down the street and someone, your neighbor or something, or someone you don't even know, just comes up and starts screaming in your face, would you believe the things that they said? No, because you don't know that person. There's nowhere for it to hook into. Being aware that you are the observer, that you are this conscious node in the field of reality playing this character, it gives you that same level of freedom with everything. So with that lens, you get to dive into your body and see where you're still taking things really personally. That is where there's a hook, where the program is. But you're looking at it through the lens of the one holding the program and discovering what is still being held in your body that's keeping you from feeling the freedom of being a free agent, of being autonomous, authentic, sovereign. I do what I want because I want to do it, not because I'm trying to compensate for something I didn't get because of a belief that I am the program or a belief that whatever happened to me is because of me, that there's something wrong with me. Programs are compensation. When you're whole and complete, there's nothing for you, anything to hook into. So any trauma that you have, and it doesn't have to be a big event. Often it's not. It's like an environment that you grew up in, and just the vibe of it, you know, and the repetition of the dynamic. That's what's in your body. And that's what keeps you locked into that way of being as you grow up. People don't break free because they're locked in and they don't know why. And then they just think that that's just the way it is. And then you have an awakening and you're like, whoa, everything I was told is not all that there is, and maybe none of it's actually true. Then what? Then it's time to go in and look at why you are doing things the way that you do them. What's the root of it? And again, it doesn't always have to be a big thing. You know, programming can be like, you always set really intense deadlines for yourself because otherwise you won't do stuff. You need this external pressure, motivation to do stuff because you're scared that if you just did what you wanted, your needs wouldn't be met. You know, where does that come from? That's like school. That's like work. I need this by this time. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then I get a gold star. Then I feel good. Then I know I'm going to be supported. That I'm going to get into a good school and go to college. Then I can get a good job. Then at the good job, I'm getting paid. Because I'm getting paid, then I have a wife or a partner. And I can provide, so I feel good about providing. But who's doing that? You see how it just trails off? And you can consciously make those choices, and that can be a real thing for you and something that's authentic to you. I'm not saying that that is a program, but it could be. Hi, buttons. Sorry. So it's really not about what the program is, right? We're depersonalizing it. And understanding this, it just frees you from the weight that this is all your fault or that this is all yours to deal with. It is, but it doesn't have to be so heavy, you know, and you're doing it because you're wanting to explore what's in your body. How can you change your life? How can you live in a way that's so true for you? What programming lives in you that is keeping that from happening? That's what it becomes. But it's like a game because you realize it is just a movie and you're the one watching and you're the one in it. So you get to be lucid in it and play. It takes away the shame and the blame and the doubt and the confusion. Those are just indications that there is still a program in you. But you knowing that you're the one holding it, cool, like let's get in there. Because I know that when I crack that, when I feel that, when I process that trauma or that feeling, that emotion, that experience, I'm bringing it back down into this present moment. And that energy that was used to run this program or to, you know, clogging your thoughts, clogging your mind, clogging your body, clogging your heart, putting a barrier over your heart, it all melts away. That energy gets freed up so that you can actually do stuff you actually want to do, build a life that actually feels good, and create something real for yourself. The clarity comes when the program dissolves. You don't have to do anything. You just know because nothing's blocking it anymore. Everyone here knows who they are. You know who you are. The question is, are you allowing yourself to actually develop that and listen to it and move in that direction? And what's stopping you? That's the programming. He's blissed out. So, is there anything else that wants to be said? What do you think, Batten? Really the point of this, like, you can understand the energetics of it and the sort of ways of reality and ways of the unseen. But the purpose of it is to really depersonalize this experience and detach yourself from this identity, especially when it's causing you a lot of suffering. You know, the trauma wasn't your fault. The pain isn't yours to always carry. The burden isn't yours to carry. You can set it down, but that means that you have to look at it and process it. And it's helpful to process it through the lens of, oh, you know, I'm having an experience as this human. And this human was born into a story where I was extremely neglected, extremely abused, where I was disabled, hurt, bullied, where I have a million learning disabilities. You know, it's like the the traits that you picked as a soul to come in and experience life from that vantage point. So there's nothing to change and there's nothing wrong with you. You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. But it is yours to explore, and you chose to explore that. So let that land and let it be a game of exploration, and get good at feeling uncomfortable feelings. That's really all it is. If you really just let yourself cry, like, a lot of this would burn out. The body's releasing trauma through your tears, truly. The structure of the trauma lives in our tears when we cry. So it's really important that you let it out. You know, move your body, let things move around, and shake out of the structured living and way of being that you were born into. You know, you just gotta, like, get it off and act from a place of true presence here now. You know, what if the movie started now? This was the opening scene. Then you're just kind of looking around like, okay, this is the set. This is the situation we're in. And, like, what are we gonna do? Everything that happened up until this point, especially if it was from the vantage point of, like, I have to do these things. If I don't do this, then X, Y, and Z will happen. Or I'm trying to mitigate what was in order to run away or not experience it again in the now. Those are all ways that we compensate. And then we can't listen. We can't hear what it is that we're actually wanting to do. So I hope this was helpful. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. All right. Cheers.